Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, let's take a look at whatever the message is for February. I almost said January. For February the 3rd. All right. What do we have for February the 3rd? Page of Cups is upright. There's a truth. There is an apology. I usually look at this as a truthful conversation that needs to be had. And we have a feminine very willing to like sit and peacefully hear this out. Six of Pentacles, the Hierophant. I kind of think that because we have the teapot of truth here as well, and there is something, we see this little dude standing here on the spout. I feel like there has already either been a truth that has come out and she's just processing it on the 3rd, or a truth along with an apology because of what came out will be what she processes. No matter what, I see her processing because we have the Hierophant and we see her sitting here in her own tree of life and consulting with her guide or an ancestor. And the Hierophant can be the card where we really like open our crown chakra and we connect to our higher power, whatever we perceive that to be, and we are open to the lesson. The fact that we have so much truth, karmic injustice maybe trying to be made right, and then this crown chakra opening, I'm viewing this like a feminine is coming to peace about something that happened possibly with a Libra masculine. And I only say that because of the teapot with the Libra scales and the little dude here. Okay, can we get a little bit more specific about this? I mean, I love the fact that that could be the energy of the day. See, she's come to the end of the road on this topic, and she's reached the point where there's nothing more to say. If there was a truth already spoken, she may be discussing, a conversation that she already had, let's say with him, and she may be talking about this conversation to a good friend. Ultimately, though, the only person she needs to really consult with over this topic is, of course, her higher self. And I think what the realization is that, you know what, that this was a wrap. I've come to the end of the amount of information I need about this. I've come to the end of the amount of conversation I need about this. And my life begins, a new blossom opens up for me. So February the 3rd could be a day, because I gotta say, this is starting to look really exciting, really good. It's a day where she's done perhaps hashing over something where the scenario is already done. What was done wrong was done wrong. What was apologized for was as apologized for as it's going to be. Where she's at now is looking to a future. Everything just says the past is already the past. And frankly, I don't think I want to talk about it anymore. I think that's where she's gotten to, especially when she consults with the Hierophant. We'll double check on that card. She could be talking to a very knowledgeable, um, you know, like a Taurus that could have something to do with a spiritual realm. This could be a spiritual advisor of sorts. But ultimately, we see her saying, honestly, I'm ready to be wooed and booed by an emperor. Frankly, I don't really care about the ex anymore, or the situation of the past that somebody, did this wrong and apologized to me. Yeah. Okay, that all happened. But gosh, I'd love to meet an emperor. And honestly, I'm feeling sexy. I'm feeling like I would love to flirt with somebody else. I would love to, I don't know, this is a very powerful feminine card. She's riding side saddle, um, which, I mean, talk about how much more difficult would that have made horseback riding. Um, I think you'd have to be a really, really particularly good rider to do side saddle. I don't know. I don't know much about horses, but I cannot imagine that it was somehow easier to be side saddle on a horse than, to be straddling it. So I'm just going to say we see somebody who I think has mad skills. Okay. And she's ready to jump into the fire, and she's ready to meet somebody new, and she's ready for honestly anything other than what the past was. And I just feel like she's very confident and competent in this idea that it's going to be different now. I've hashed out the past to such an extent. I just don't even have anything else to say about the past. Can I please just get on with it and get to the future now? I'm so ready to flirt with somebody new. I'm so ready to give someone new my attention. Sorry, I keep knocking over this deck. Okay, maybe I shouldn't just knock it over. Maybe I should say let's use it since it's flipped over twice. Okay, so can we go back real quick though to that Hierophant there? Nine of Cups in the reverse. You know, if she had a moment where she consulted with her higher self and she said, "What am I really doing here?" It could have been that her higher self answered, "Well, are you happy with the idea of dealing with them again?" And if she's like, "No," as a matter of fact, dealing with the stuff of the past, even talking about it anymore, getting more truth about the things that were wrong. Gosh, no, that none of that appeals to me. I don't see any need to keep uncovering layers of whatever was wrong in the past. And let me just ask, she doesn't want to dig into this from what we can tell, but let's just say, am I correct in thinking with the Libra scales there that there was something wrong in the past? Well, there was a potential of great happiness with the Ten of Cups. Great happiness was there. There was maybe great love there. Nine of Wands, Ace of Cups, Four of Cups, Four of Swords. You know, I don't know what happened here. And I don't know that this is, behooves her looking any further into it, because it says there was a Ten of Cups, right? But the person that I loved and who loved me maybe had some scars and wounds. And so maybe they never quite walked through my door. They came to the door with their cup of love. They acted like they were going to pursue me, but then ultimately stopped talking to me, left me high and dry. They never met me at that train station. We never moved this thing forward. They did come toward me at some point, but then it's like because of their wounds, they withdrew. We see this stutter energy, don't we? We see this energy of like, no wonder we have the Libra scales there, because it would be confusing and it would be really messed up. We had the Ten of Cups. I thought we were doing the Ten of Cups. Then it was no, they were wounded, but they loved me, wanted to move toward me, but then they left me high and dry and in silence and solitude. And I don't know whatever happened. I can see why she'd be done thinking about whatever happened. This feels like a ghosting situation from somebody that wanted to be with her, but at the end, I'm going to use the word chicken out, but I don't mean it to sound so rude. It's just they didn't follow through. And I don't think she ever got answers. Have you recently gotten answers with that first card out, the apology card? We have Ten of Pentacles, but we also have the Devil sideways. Let me put it this way. We certainly have a wrap up here, okay? And either it's like the amount of an answer that she got could have come more from like her own sense of abundance and saying, here's the only way I can make sense of this is I know how I would operate. I know how I feel about things. And if I'm whole and healthy, I tend to move forward on the things that I want in life. So if somebody didn't do that, then I can only say they had something in their life that was not whole and healthy. And I know this because that's not the way I would have handled things. The way they did it is not the way I would have done it. So that lets me know we were not on par. We were not on the same page. So I can't be brokenhearted or anything about it because I don't have whatever their, vices were. And they didn't have whatever kind of confident choosing happiness energy that I had. So there was a disconnect here. We weren't balanced. But anyway, enough about that. Please, can I look toward the future now? Because, God, I'm ready to flirt with somebody. I'm ready to love somebody. I'm hearing Whitney Houston. Oh, I want to dance with somebody. I want to feel the heat with somebody who loves me. I think that's a perfect song for her and her energy. Okay, now let's go to the other deck, the one that I was trying to get when that one kept jumping out. On the 3rd, we see this mindset change, right? And we see her ready to move forward. I just want to know, do we have somebody to dance with? We have Page of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles. She may be actively, we still see her like just by herself here. standing here thinking about this, standing here weighing, almost like she's coming up in her head with who she would most like to envision talking to. We know she said, I'd love to meet an emperor. We know that. But then she's kind of like, I was going to say, this is like before she really starts manifesting, she's pausing and saying, I said off the cuff, I'd love to meet somebody I can flirt with. I'd love to meet an emperor. But then she's giving it a little bit more thought. And it's so crazy because we literally have the magician, which is the manifester. She's giving some serious thought on the third to who would I like the emperor to be? What kind of partnership? I really think she is kind of in the, let's say, the fantasizing phase of manifesting, like when we can imagine something that we would like to welcome into our life and we start envisioning what that might be like. It's not to live in la la land, it's to direct our thoughts to the truth of what our subconscious is telling us, the truth of how do I really want a relationship to go? Because I know the past is done and I'm ready for the future and I want an emperor, but that still leaves it really broad. Let me think a little more precisely. How could I really picture, that the best possible outcome in my life, the happiest possible outcome? What would that look like? Let me envision it. And I feel like that's what she's doing on the third. It's a day for tremendous, intentional thought. Nine of Swords. She wants something really wonderful. She's acknowledging she's had plenty of stress before. Knight of Cups. Hang on. Where's your stress coming from that you're, because you don't want to manifest that, right? But I think she needs to address it. Four of Wands, Seven of Cups. There's an energy of, she said first off the cuff, she'd like an emperor. Then she said, hey, hang on, let me think about, by the way, I don't know why, but right now, that film Romancing the Stone is coming to mind. I have no idea why, but I just had like a flash in my head of that film with Michael Douglas and really pretty, God, what is her name? Kathleen Turner. And I think they did two of those films, and I don't know which one. I'm picturing the scene, which I think is from the first one, where they have to like swing on a vine like across this huge, gorge. But that's what's in my head at the moment. Anyway, I have no idea why that scene just popped into my head, unless that represents like the fear, the worries in her mind, the like. If she said off the cuff, look, what I'd love is to meet an emperor and, somebody that is attracted to me, I'm attracted to them, that'd be great. But then she starts to really think, okay, hang on now. I'm done with the past and I'm really, truly ready to manifest my future. What does that look like? What does that feel like? She has a little bit of fear around, I'm going to say, if she actually wants to meet a long-term partner, somebody she can have as a Four of Wands, she may have a fear that she hasn't acknowledged to herself until now. Maybe she worries she'll always just meet knights and it'll never become a really serious commitment. And she's realizing it's hard for me to imagine manifesting the thing that I want, but I've never had, so I don't have a reference point for it. I haven't really meshed with an emperor before, but I mean, yes, that's what I would want. That's who I would want more than anybody, but I've only known knights, and the idea that I'm asking for something I don't even know how that would feel. And maybe I have a fear. What if I never meet that person? What if I never have the Four of Wands? You notice she's kind of like a little confused about, a second ago, she was pretty empowered. Now we see her a little bit like, yeah, but I mean, I'm a little bit shy to ask the universe to like, let me meet an emperor, a long-term person, the person I'll marry, when I don't even know, like, am I asking for too much? What would that even look like or feel like? My God, I haven't had that before. So we can see, I think she's been pretty heavily cheated out of, out of partnership. The universe has simplified this for her and said, darling, what would you like to give a partner? Just think about that. Can you fathom what you would like to give to a partner? And obviously she is somebody who would make a great partner, because the universe says all you have to do is imagine what you would like to treat a partner like, how you would like to treat somebody, what you would offer to them, and now be willing to say, and I'd like to receive the exact same in return. That's it. There's your Emperor, there's your 10 of Pentacles. That's not too much to ask for because it's no more than what you would be willing to give. You're not asking for somebody to be, many things that you are not. You're only asking for the amount that you would give to another person. That's your Four of Wands. That's your balance. And I think that makes it so much more reasonable. She's not asking for the universe. She's asking just for somebody. And now I'm hearing Tina Turner. All I need is a little reaction, just enough to tip the scales. All I want is a little attraction from a typical male. It just feels like this should be so much simpler. She's only asking, honestly, for someone to bring their 5 of Pentacles to the table, and she'll match them with her 5 of Pentacles, and together they make the 10. That makes it a much more reasonable ask. So I kind of think, honestly, because maybe she was so confounded and confused by the fact that somebody loved her but wouldn't come toward her, ended up leaving her high and dry. I mean, how confusing would that be, right? I think that makes a lot of sense. Why then she kind of like freaked out about, like, I don't even know how to ask for somebody to like want to give to me. I'm not sure that I'm allowed to ask for that. And this is the universe supporting her and like learning how to manifest. You're not asking for a lot. You're asking only for the amount you would give to somebody. But this time around, you're specifically sending out the message. It says, universe, bring me the person, help me meet the person that will give me the same amount I'd give to them. That's it. No more, no less. And I think that's going to simplify this and streamline it. So now let's turn one more time and say, so is there an Emperor, long-term mentality person coming in for her? 7 of Pentacles. There has been somebody that could have been in her life for a long time that she has not noticed in that way because she was busy thinking about that person. The 9 of Wands person, we already saw them. Queen of Swords sideways. There's already been an Emperor nearby that she just hasn't seen. And it's a little unfortunate because they've been so close to her without her seeing them. King of Wands. You know what? I think she has just like lifted the curse, so to say. I don't know why I want to say it in that way, but she has just opened up or dropped the drawbridge to the castle. And now this amazing person can come into her life. Somebody who is attracted to her, likes her, somebody who would like to approach her, somebody who probably has liked her for a long time, but she never was like clear-eyed enough to have noticed them or reacted to them. I think that this is somebody that's this close to being in her world already. The Star. She may think that I can't picture anybody like that. And it's like, darling, you're looking up all the time. They're right here on the ground. They're coming towards you. You've just been looking in the wrong direction. There is somebody already in her life that is now going to take on a different role. And it's going to be a stunner that it's like, oh my God, it was you all this time. I always like, I really didn't know that there would be somebody so wonderful that already kind of liked me, but I wasn't able to see it. It's because she was very distracted for a period of time. And that's the thing. The distraction is gone for her now. And that's what I mean when I say the curse is broken. She's no longer, captivated by somebody else who was the wrong person. All right, let's quickly do a little card pull for a birthday for the 3rd. And we have got Justice, the Sun, and the Moon. 3 major arcana. That's great. This is a powerful year. It's a year where a lot of wrongs are going to be made right. We see happiness returning. We see somebody is getting their just desserts. I see a character leaving behind, possibly a Libra or somebody who did them dirty in some way. It doesn't matter. It doesn't touch their life anymore. She's got bigger fish to fry, particularly celebrating around the year of the fire horse, which is, February the 17th. That could be a real turning point where things get particularly good. And I have to say, there are some surprises in store also, because we do have the moon here. And it's like there's some unexpected, I'm going to say like wonderful things on the horizon because of this turn of events. Things are going to start to work out in her favor. Somebody is getting their just desserts, and that could be a shock to them. She may find out through the grapevine that, wow, I can't believe things finally tilted in my favor. That's kind of unheard of. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for giving it a